all that talk, all that work about the 41st overall pick for the Warriors for absolutely nothing. Well, actually, not absolutely nothing. The Warriors turned 1 second-round pick into 2 second-round picks when Mike Dunleavy Jr. continued to be wheeling and dealing. He is not afraid to make a move, especially in the second round of the draft, as we've seen. And so here's exactly what happened for the Warriors in the 2025 NBA draft. They came into the day, as we've said, with the number 41 overall pick. I wrote about Nikola Jokic. I wrote about the Case Cerrito. I wrote about Eric Pascal and Keith Smart. I wrote 5 best shooters to look for the Warriors at 41. I wrote about 5 of my favorite fits at 41. But then Mike Dunleavy Jr., he gets creative as he's been doing. Dunleavy, he sent the number 41 overall pick to the Phoenix Suns for number 52 and number 59 overall. Then later in the day, he trades up from 59 to 56 in the second round with the Memphis Grizzlies. But let me first go back to 41 overall, because with the 41st overall pick, the Phoenix Suns went and drafted Kobe Brea, who was probably my favorite shooter in the draft for the Warriors if they were going to be at 41 overall. All 5 of my favorite fits at 41 were officially gone at 41 when the Suns went out and got Kobe Brea, a knockdown shooter. We've talked about him, extensively in the past. I brought up the fact that he shot 42.5% from three-point range as a sophomore, and that was his 3rd best overall season, shooting-wise beyond the arc. But also with Kobe Brea, here's what I'm thinking now. He also might be a one-trick pony, and that one trick might be phenomenal, even at the next level. The way he can shoot the ball at 6'7", but he's also a negative wingspan guy. There's definitely concerns, limitations athletically when it comes to defense. So yeah, maybe he will go out for the Phoenix Suns and light it up from long distance. But the Warriors, what they did was they went out and got an overall player that just knows how to play Warriors basketball. When they went down to 52 overall, they went out and got Alex Tui, a 6'8", 6'9" forward out of Australia, played the last 2 seasons in the NBL for the Sydney Kings, a team that Andrew Bogut owns. So obviously a former Warrior, has a lot of understanding, has a lot of experience with the newest second-round pick for the Warriors in Alex Tui. So who is Alex Tui? Let's talk about him a little bit. Aside from just being that 6'8", 6'9" forward that I brought up, 6'11" wingspan. And that's something that really helps him out on the defensive end, I would say. Because Tui, he's not going to wow you athletically. This is not a Jonathan Kuminga type of prospect that we're talking about, not a big-time leaper. He's not going to jump off the page. In fact, really, there isn't one set skill that's going to jump off the page when it comes to Alex Tui. When you're watching highlights of him, you're not going, oh my gosh, look at the three-point shot. Oh my God, this guy is leaping out of the gym. Oh wow, look at what he just did crossing that guy up. There's not one single thing, but when you watch him, when you get to learn a little bit more about him, when you read about him, you just see a smart overall basketball player that simply knows how to play the game. Turn on the highlights and you're going to go, yeah, that makes sense. I could see him in a Steve Kerr rotation at some point, undoubtedly, because of his feel for the game. In Australia overall, the NBL, they're cooking something up. They had 3 players selected in the second round of the draft this year. We keep talking about France is coming for Team USA in the Olympics. But watch out for Australia. I'm telling you, they're getting a little bit of a pipeline coming to the NBA right now, and Alex Tui might be next when it comes to the Warriors. They went out, they found Taron Armstrong, signed him to a 2-way contract in late February last season. They like what they see from him, a very crafty point guard. He's going to play Summer League with the Warriors this season. And then the Warriors, they went to Australia twice to scout Alex Tui and a handful of those other guys that were draft prospects this year. When I wrote about Alex Tui, I talked about the feel for the game, and I said that he needs to improve as a shooter. And I think on social media, A lot of people jumped at that. Needs to improve as a shooter. We can't have another non-shooter is what Warriors fans are saying. And I've emphasized the fact that the Warriors need more shooting. That's why I highlighted somebody like a Kobe Bryant, because as I've mentioned, the guy can absolutely shoot the basketball. Now with Alex Tui, yeah, the numbers, they can be a little bit concerning when it comes to that three-point shot. His second year in the NBL, he shot 31% from three-point range. But what I will say also is that from year 1 to year 2 in the NBL, he did improve in every single facet when it comes to shooting. Then you look out and at the NBA draft combine, he really impressed with his shooting and, of course, with that feel for the game when it came to group work, when it came to drill work, when it came to then the scrimmages. The mechanics of his shot are really, really pretty. You're not seeing this 2-3 step shot where you're going, I don't think that's going to work at all. There's nothing to work with here. No, you're seeing someone who knows how to play the game, and his shot, you can see it develop over time at 6'8", at 6'9". So you just look at the 2 scrimmages at the combine. I want to mention that real quick. I'm going to read these numbers. In 2 games at the scouting combine, 2 scrimmages, Alex Tui put up 24 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals. That's just a solid overall basketball player, guys. Then the shooting that I bring up. He shot 61.5% overall. Efficiency, he was 8 of 13. He made half of his three-point shots, 3 of 6. He also went 5 of 6 at the free throw line. So again, I go back to the mechanics. I go back to seeing progression as a shooter. And that's where I'm going. Maybe the Warriors see we don't want a specialist anymore. We've seen a lot of specialists on the roster the last few years, and they see someone like Alex Tui that they might have been surprised fell to 52. They felt really comfortable trading down. Mike Dunleavy told us that about a week ago, looking at the big board, have an idea of what's going to happen, where certain guys are going to fall, that they felt actually really, really comfortable going, we can go back a little bit from 41 and then even go out and get another second round pick because of the way that NIL is, the way that some of these NBL international guys are coming in ready to play. So Alex Tui, I think overall, you just see a Warriors player, someone who has high IQ, someone who I can see Steve Kerr really liking because offensively, he's not going to be a ball stopper. Like, the ball's not going to stick in his hands. He's going to be the buzzword that Steve Kerr loves, and that is a connector. Defensively, is he going to be able to get under you? Is he going to be a point of attack guy? Probably not. But he's going to be really good with help defense and in a team concept. He knows how to get in passing lanes. That's why you see 4 steals total in these 2 scrimmages at the combine. Alex Tui, a nice solid value pick at 52. Now let's talk about the second guy that the Warriors went out and got in the second round. And they liked him so much that they went up from 59 to 56, probably worried hearing that, hey, he might go at 57, 58, 50. We need to get up there and get this guy. Like, this is our guy. And that guy is shooting guard Will Richard out of Florida, who wasn't even invited to the scouting combine. Might have came out of left field for a lot of guys. But another player where if you watch him, you see, again, not so much a specialist, but someone who is going to give you everything, who's going to play really, really hard, a 4-year player. He started off his college career at Belmont and then was actually Todd Golden's first recruit when he became the head coach at Florida, and clearly they know what they're doing. We're talking about the national champions, and that's what I really want to emphasize when it comes to Will Richard. The Warriors, they love winners, but they also really like players when it comes to the college ranks who have shown that they can step up under the bright lights. That is what Will Richard did in the national championship game for Florida against Houston. I know Walter Clayton Jr. is a big name when it comes to Florida that a lot of Warriors fans were hoping that they can get their hands on, maybe even trade into the first round, which Mike Dunleavy might have maybe wanted to do when it came to Walter Clayton, but it was clear that wasn't going to work out. And of course, fans were hoping that he might be there at 41 overall. The longer that the college season went on, the more that his March Madness, the enigma of Walter Clayton Jr. continued to grow, it was clear he wasn't going to be that 41 overall. But who was there at 56 overall was his teammate, Will Richard, who actually was the best player on the floor in the national championship game. Walter Clayton Jr., he's the one who, at the end of the game there, he brought it home for Florida. But they wouldn't even been there if it wasn't for Will Richard, who had a historic stat line in the national championship game. Guys, I'm talking about 18 points, 8 rebounds, 4 threes, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Boom, 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 boom. That is doing everything as a basketball player. And also with efficiency. He was 5 of 10 overall, shooting from the field in that national championship game, 4 of 7 on 3-pointers. So this guy, again, a proven winner, knows how to play the game. And in his 3-point shot, I think it's about 35-36%, but you can see why. You take someone who has that dog inside of them, can play the game, and again, continue to develop as a shooter. Why do I trust in his shot? Because it shows me that he has the right touch at the free throw line. Never shot below 80% at the line in college. I think he was about an 83+% shooter at the free throw line overall during his college career. So you can only imagine that the shooting, the touch is already there. And that the shot from long distance is just going to come along even better. So to go into the second day of the draft with the 41st overall pick, and we might have said, oh, there's a lot of guys there that could help you now. But you know what? Everyone has a different draft board. The Warriors, again, clearly felt A-OK sliding down. You get 2 value guys right there. And for a team that could be a little strapped with cash, to be able to get cheap contracts like this with players who might even get roster spots, who can crack the rotation at some point, Mike Dunleavy's already said that both of those guys might have a chance to be on guaranteed contracts. Wouldn't be surprised if one of them is a 2-way guy. And we've seen how well the Warriors have done when it comes to their G League affiliate in Santa Cruz. So to add both of these players, overall, a solid draft night once again for Mike Dunleavy. He just knows how to find value in the second round. We've seen it with Trayce Jackson-Davis. We've seen it with Quentin Post. Only time will tell when it comes to Alex Tui, who is 21 years old but has already played 2 seasons professionally. And when it comes to Will Richard, who's an older 22-year-old, he'll be 23 years old in December. There's no way that I can say this is what their future is going to be. But the fact that they've already found value the last 2 years in the second round, right now, you pretty much have to trust the brain trust of Mike Dunleavy in the Warriors front office when it comes to finding value in the second round of the NBA draft.